All right, guys. So the theme of the day is 5 minutes of trading fun. So I'm gonna go over, I guess tonight's activity. So I was trading earlier. Well, I think I've already expressed in my other videos. Essentially, you trade for a goal, and then if you get any overage, you can use that to continue trading. All right. So just to kind of like double up at the end of the day. Now, this isn't something that I do often this late in the day because I'm tired. But I wanted to get more content out that's actually meaningful at this point, and then kind of show you some techniques as well. So hopefully you guys can appreciate it. I'm going to go into it. I will be stopping the video every once in a while to kind of go through things. But let's just continue and see what we got going. All right. So as I mentioned, I already kind of been trading today. I'm gonna find a good color for you guys that you can see. I don't like to use red, but let's just do the white. So I already been trading today. This evening I should be saying. Already kind of well, been broken even. Then I went to record and kind of get a little bit serious. So one up already on the 25 for the second half of the day. All right. But essentially, yeah. So I'm trying to give you five good trades. I think, right, if my math is, yeah, try to give you five good trades. Essentially, like I said, when you guys are trading, if you're going to do this, make sure you always secure your profits. So that's either remove them by deposit them to your account, which you can do daily and receive it right away, or just have enough sense to not go against what you did earlier if you did well. All right. And this applies to demo mode as well. So don't, like I said, you got to do what you need to do in demo so it translates over well into when you get into that live account because everything is going to be the same. The only difference is the mentality and terms of demo mode, I mean, you got to put several $1,000s in there. So I guess in terms of clicking that button, it's a little bit easier. But when you're with your live money, you are dealing with the amount that is in that account. So with that said, you can start an account up with $10. Yeah, as little as $10 if you want to. You can trade at $1 and work your way from there. Personally, I mean, I think anything under $200 is going to get you in that point where if you miss, now you're frantic because you want to make sure, you're looking at that number get closer to zero. So, I mean, 300 is a good number to start an account off with, but you're not held to that, all right? So, anyway, let's get to the trades. I'll stop the videos as I see things and discuss it, and we'll continue from there, okay? And sorry I don't have the camera up today, so I'm being shy today. I need to cut my hair, so no judgment. All right, so just getting everything showing so you guys can see it now. As you can see, I sold in a clear buy time frame, right? So it's going down, then it's pushing back up, all right? When it pushes up, it's likely going to retrace on a downward motion, and that is what I'm banking on, all right? Because again, the when you're talking about trades, they don't just go straight up, straight down, straight up. There's going to be like this motion, all right? So the good thing I like about trading these options in a time frame of that 5 seconds is that I can catch it both ways. So this is typically how I can finish pretty fast trading because I catch it down when it goes back up and goes over that ceiling. If that's what I'm looking for, then I'll look to buy, right? So there's several strategies that people use, and I do want to let you know as well. I actually changed my time frame to 30 seconds. So my candles each represent 30 seconds instead of a minute. I found that to be more accurate, and I kind of did the same thing when I was trading forex because I think um, well, no, I went back up to an hour. Initially, I started off with an hour, then I went down to 30 minutes because I guess it just depends on what you're trying to do. But to me, if I'm looking at 5 second trades, 30 seconds to me is more comfortable because now I can see what's going on a 30-second basis because that's more important to me trading at 5 seconds than a whole minute. You get what I'm saying? So each of these candles now represent 30 seconds. If you want to change that for yourself, do that. If you want to keep it at a minute, that's fine. But it was just helping to give me some more, assurance, I should say. So let this play out and then I'll continue. So quick to sell. Da, 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 boom. All right. So first trade down. Again, this is what you're entering in. This is the return on 92%. Okay, to get you that in profit. Hopefully you can see it. So first trade down. And again, the reasoning why is because I have a ceiling here where we have two candles opposite in color tapping each other out. All right. I'm already late to remember that my process when it comes to candles to so we have one candle here, then we have one candle which would be this first big red one, and then the second candle is in opposite in color. So I didn't use that one. I should have jumped in actually on the third one. So remember I told you want two candles under that yellow to then jump back in. So just know that if you are taking that process where you're jumping in, is you want to be jumping in near the bottom of these, if you can see this, of these area, okay, of this area. So you want not at the bottom, but near the bottom, because you want to ensure that there's still space to go. Sometimes if you click, if you're entering in at the very bottom, it may retrace up on you. I mean, it may do that anyway, but at least if it's retracing up, like I said, you don't want to be too thirsty on the first candle. It's more risky. Two candles is a little bit less risky. The third candle is kind of like ideal, but it is okay to jump in on that second one at least. Okay. Me technically now, I'm kind of late because I was trying to set everything up. But like I said, I saw this. I know I'm looking at a sale. I'm looking for that retracement based on number one. Number two, I have multiple candles underneath the yellow. Number three is, oh, that's a terrible three. So number three, don't judge me, guys, is this crossover. And then I have red candles right there getting larger. Okay. So then larger showing downward movement. And then four easily is here. Okay. So pointing downward, very strong. It hasn't reached a 20 yet. So I'm not worried about a reversal to that magnitude. All right. At this point. All right. So let me erase all of this and continue on. So maybe this is me showing kind of what I thought I was going to discuss in time, but I'm recording over a recorder just so I can focus more. And now I'm looking for another opportunity. And so I'm not quick to jump in right at these moments because it's still at the top end of the green. So just it could reverse. So I'm just trying to see what it's doing. And a lot of this is just practice, man. Like once you get into this and you start to see how these candles move, you'll make that decision. So now I see that it's curving. That's what I'm pointing at there at that oscillator tool showing it's curving. But I'm still getting bigger candles under the MACD. So now it's just a waiting game to see what to do, right? So just keep an eye on it. I did activate it and boom. Okay, so now it's starting to curve out for real. I'm starting to feel like I'm welcoming, or I'm sorry, I'm overstaying my welcome. So let me jump somewhere else and see what we have. So this is another situation. I'm gonna pause it here where we have consolidation, and I guess I can go over these support zones with you. So floor, or you can call it a resistance or support. Sorry, support zone. and then you got a psychological ceiling. Now, when I do ceilings are the top. So floor and ceiling are the highest point and the lowest point, where currency pair or not the currency pairs, but where the candles are kind of like standing between. All right. Um, I don't. I start mine over the box, not the wicks. Okay. The wicks are potential, but it's shooting back down for a reason. So that's what I look at. It's very easy to track those things because when you're using when you're on the desktop and moving your mouse around, it actually lines it up pretty good for you so you can see it. So when you're doing this, I mean, I'm showing you one trading style, but there's multiple ways that you can look at this, right? So again, each of these is 30 seconds, and if I don't have a real good example to show you, but let's just say there was more of a downward slope, consolidation, another downward slope. As you can see, each of these candles being 30 seconds, so you can trade up to, I don't even know. The most I've ever seen was 5 minutes. But so you can set your trades up for longer than 5 seconds. Now, I just don't have that kind of tolerance. But what some people do, they'll wait for these zones to be breached, right? So you wait for the zone to be breached. And if you say, hey, if it goes under this line like it did, I want to enter, immediately. And I know in 5 minutes, if I enter at this point, if I enter here, let me do this in a different color for you. So if I enter, underneath the white line, essentially, if I enter underneath the white line for a sell, I know that it'll be under there for at least, 3 to 5 minutes. And as you can see, if with each of these being 30 seconds, once that time frame goes, you got it. So there's different ways to do this. My way is, more quick and to the point. I'm trying to get in, get out. But if you have the tolerance to wait for support zones to be breached and trade based on that, then that works too, because all of it should look the same. I mean, essentially just keeping this yellow here because I'm showing you something different. What you see right here is this area right here, which is this area. I mean, it's under the 30 or under the 20, but I mean, that part doesn't matter if you have other evidence behind this that shows that when it breaches a zone, it's under there for a certain time frame. So if you're doing that across all the trading pairs, then I mean, really, I mean, I don't know. Like it could be slower, but it may not be because you may see things like that. You may see this setup on several different charts and where you can enter them in, one, two, or three of them at a time. It's really up to you because whatever's in your account, you can trade. You don't have to base it off any leverage or anything like that. So you can have as many going as you want to as long as it's in the account, right? So that's one trading method. I mean, that's another way that you can think about trading if that's something that works for you. Again, you don't have to necessarily use mine. I'm just showing you my journey and how I plan to get there. But that style doesn't necessarily work for me. I have not used it. Realistically, I've done it like demo wise, but I like my 5 second approach. It helps me get in and get out and keep it moving. So let's continue here. So I'm just showing you the downward pattern. I'm showing you the reversal. Um, what I'm looking at here is a ceiling, a new ceiling, because I have the green and red top at the top, and then I have a floor right here. So again, I try to trade in between zones, but as you can see, I got one candle, I got two, and that red that's over it, and I'm waiting now at my three. Boom. So the thing I didn't look at was the 72%, which is what I showed you instead of 92. So that was my tweak. But we're two down, and I'll probably explain that a little bit better. Let me go back. So let me stop it here. So, Let me back up just a little for that number's not in the way. So I can go over the detail. All right. Okay. So like I said, zones. All right. So I have a floor here. I'm looking for the next high point, right? So my next high point is literally here. Okay. Now, something else you can consider is that there's a floor right here as well. That is something that is respected. So you got a floor that can be a ceiling for this as well, right? But it is breaching it, so it is fine. I know that there is potential to move up from there. And again, when you're trading, this is typically how it goes. So even though it's showing a sale and I'm buying in a sale, I try to catch those buy opportunities. Okay, because at least I know it's been there before. When you're like if you're trying to go this direction, you don't know how far that's going to actually go down on a 5 second interval. Sometimes it's a little bit risky to do that. So I try to go the road that's been traveled, just assuming that it will uphold. Okay. So scroll back or video or record, or I'm sorry, move the video back if you need to see it, or if I'm moving too fast. Um, but essentially, we got a candle here over the yellow, right? Because it's breached the yellow, it's breached the buy, and the buy is over that. We got a second one next to it, which is that little red one. So now I'm in my third one, right? Now this red one is risky because it's red and it's a small candle and it's near the bottom, right? So there's something there. Like I said, there's a floor here that is turned into a ceiling that's keeping that pushing, that's pushing it back, right? But I have to follow my process. So I'm respecting it. So this is my number one that I looked at. That makes sense. Number two, I have an early crossover. As you can see, green goes over to red. And then I also have small red candles that are turning into small green candles. So I have to follow it, right? So stay consistent. Now, the one that really made me feel a little bit more confident than ever is here. We got a strong upward push towards the 80. So only because it was strong moving up, that was my okay to do this. If that was not pointed upward like that, I would have stayed out of it. Okay. So if it was starting to level out, definitely curve or something, I wouldn't have been involved in that one and I would have got out. All right. So you got three things rolling for you. The candles over the moving average. You got the MACD showing crossover and the bars moving that are getting a little bit larger. It's hard to see, but they're a little bit larger. And then you got that oscillator that is pointing upward from the 20. Okay, so practice. All right, so let me let this one roll out and then I'll go into the next one. I guess I'll erase this. So where are we at? Yep, we're down. So we got three of them now. So let me pause this. So we're three into it now. All right, at least the three that you've seen. And let's roll. So overstayed. So that last one was a little ugly. I was waiting for it to hit to a sale or something, so I wasn't going to overstay my welcome. Set an alert. You can set alerts for it'll go off. Now, let me explain why I did that. Okay. So just quick explanation because I want to show you why I would get into it and why I would not, right? So one, I felt like I'm real late, right? We got under this Yellow, we got one, two, three, four, five, six, you see what I'm saying? Too many candles go for me to try to catch it on the downswing. Right now, it's going this way, and probably back up, right? So I just want to be alerted when I get some good upward momentum, which is why I set that alert. On top of that, I get all sales showing, but then, or I got a sale crossover, I'm saying showing, but then that red is now turning green, which is letting me know that, hey, it might be retracing up like I said up here. Okay. And then this curved line is now straightening out. So that's going to eventually go this way. All right. So stay out of it because I don't have anything and I don't show enough evidence to know that it's going to go further down. Again, once it's at the 20 or beyond the 20, it generally will reverse on you. Like you can see here, same thing for the 80. So once it gets to 80, reversal goes down, gets close to the 20. Generally, it'll breach the 20, but I mean, it can't be perfect, right? Everything's not gonna always line up like that. But um, like I said, my method is more so catching in these moments. Okay. And I'll try to catch them in the other way if I can, but I typically look for retracements and that's what I mean and crossover opportunities, I'm sorry, and that's what all of this setup is about. All right, so let's keep it going. So set the alert just in case, and then I'll erase this stuff. Sorry. So I'm about to jump in pretty quick. So here we have, so this is already, so this may be going the other way is what I'm getting at. So it was downward. I don't know what it was doing prior to this time frame I was looking, but now I'm looking at straight buy opportunities. All right, but it's retracing as you can see. So it's buying, goes retrace, buy, retrace, buy, retrace, buy. All right, so just trying to find out when to catch it. Boom, I already got it. So sorry, so this is how fast this stuff goes. You gotta can't even, and this is why I don't like to record in real time and talk over it anymore, especially when you're dealing with real money. Because if I miss my opportunity and I miss money because I'm talking, I'm be upset. Especially since this is free, right? So, um, what am I getting into here? So, a couple things kind of went against what I normally would do, but like I said, um, so this is just one of those gut feeling moments. Now, I'm late, right? As you can see, we already got candles forming over this. So the candles over the yellow. I mean, like I said, this would be more of a riskier trade, so I can't consider this my one. What I really looked at for my first is this, all right? So I'm over to 80, but it's pointing upward, all right? So I'm just trying to get a feel for what is going on at this time, which is why I was hesitant to press the button initially. So I'm just waiting for it to go down some and shoot back up. So what I'm waiting on, so like I said, you don't want to go in at the top because you're going to assume that if it's at the top, it's going to come back down, especially in this motion. If you see all of these candles. I mean, I don't know if these what it would have hit in a 5 second interval with all these candles here, but as you can see, these are all very tiny candles. Okay, all of them. So like I said, this is one of the ones, technically speaking, you probably want to stay out of if you're not too familiar. But again, the benefit of doing a 5 second candle, I know, chances are if I allow it to go down some and I have a lot of wiggle room, like you can see here. Let me back it up some while that number get out the way. So as you can see, the candle before, there's a very tall wick. Now, normally this can be a sign of reversal. I just felt a little bit better because I have this engulfing stick right here, this candlestick. So the full stick is essentially it's a full candle that overshadows the previous one. Okay. And it has to be an opposite candle. So it's a big green candle that's overshadowing the red. I see that, so I know that there is some pressure there that's going to keep pushing that thing up. I just needed to push it up for 5 seconds. So that's why I took it. But essentially, this was one of the more riskier ones. Like I said, everything's not going to always be 3 or 4. I looked at this and saw upward momentum, which you'll see shortly when I play it. This did not help out at all. This is basically explaining all of the, this whole area here to the right of these column or this bracket. Okay, so it's just showing me that it's getting a lot of pushback. Normally speaking, this would be something that you stay out of, but to me, I'm looking at a prior high of this area here, as you can see up here. So I know there's some room here. I see that there's going to be weak movement. So I used just sheer experience. So I went off of really two things. The first one being where number one is. The second one is that candle before this last one that you see that shows that there's room to go up. All right. So stay out of it unless you got the experience. But I just wanted to see it come up some and come back down, and then I was comfortable pressing that button. All right. So as always, move on up. Move on up when you're done. And now, I'm sorry, let me get some of this stuff off your way. So I'm just showing you guys the setup here. So let me play it now. All right, so we got a reversal showing is what I'm trying to show you. Showing you the floor, ceiling, the direction. Let me scroll back. All right, so, sorry, let me scroll back again. All right, so stayed out of this one. Okay, there we go. Sorry. So we stayed out of this one, right? So I already got away with one risky one, all right? So I'm not gonna push my luck, right? So this is consolidating, as you can see. Oh, I'm sorry, wrong spot. So this is consolidating here, and then I mean this is the other high point, but I mean realistically we're here, right? So consolidating in this area. Um, and then I have a new floor here. All right. So with this situation, there's no real loyalty in terms of a direction. And then I felt like I was already late, right? So I probably could have went in for a sale, but it wasn't worth the entry, right? So if I'm putting up a larger entry, I want to make sure at least it's I'm doing it. I'm checking my other options, right? So this does look good for a sale. I mean, it's about to cross over, it just hasn't yet. As you can see, MACD hasn't crossed over yet. I mean, it's been going down, so I'm kind of late here, but I mean, we got one, two, and then the 3 and 4 are kind of on the yellow. So I feel like we're kind of early right here to be trading, right? So and then also there's no strong movement down here, right? So it's showing sale. It is showing a sale, but it's not a strong. It's not pointing in there like with any strong direction to feel like this is the time, right? So this would be one that you set an alert for and come back to just when it looks ideal. On top of that, like I said, there's a lot going on in this area where it's consolidating. Here, let me do this. So it's a lot in this area here where it's consolidating for a long time, then it drops down, it's consolidating again, then it goes back up into another zone, then it's going back down. So it's playing around too much in these same zones. So some of these you just have to know is best to stay out of and just see what else is out there. So that's the beauty of this. You have so many assets that you can look into. You don't have to force anything. All right. So let's continue with the vid. So another one. So I try not to go. I'm trying to like limit my assets. So I have like four in normally. I think when I first started, I just had the whole top end like filled up, and it was just too much. So now I'm trying to find other options and opportunities. Um, I'm trying to find the one that I went into. So again, remember, generally I stick with cryptocurrencies and regular currencies. I'm favorable to Euro USD and GBP because I traded those when I was doing Forex. So just showing a little bit of favoritism. Now, trying to find a good entry to come in at. All right. Goodness, I'm sorry. That just went out fast. Hold on. So let me scroll back to get a chance to. And this is how fast you have to be on this stuff too, just so that you see. Once this clears out, I'll go into it. Okay, so I mean everything is pretty much, I mean what I've shown before. So if you've looked at some of the demos, it's the same process. This situation, so just from what I've noticed when I'm doing currencies, they generally move in the same direction. It's not a lot of fast movement one way or another. Um, so this is the floor. I mean, this was the prior ceiling. We're beyond that. So right now we're into the unknown. I can't see how high this goes. So essentially, I don't know how high this is going. I think I'm late, but what I'm trying to do is what I tell you I always do. I'm trying to allow, it's hard to see this, but there's a wick there um that's over this previous candle that's above where my current candle is, right? So just real quick, let me go to what we always see first. So this was the first thing I looked at. I'm curving out right now, right? So it's not the best, but again, I don't mind going against this if this makes sense, right? So number two. So MACD is showing large candles. Okay, as you can see, these candles are growing and getting large. Obviously, the crossover took place right there. So this made me, number two made me feel a lot better. The MACD made me feel a lot better than the oscillator tool. Okay. Now, this last one is really just based on experience. And again, it's my third check was that it's already been in that area before recently. So the prior candle is hard to see, but there's still some space for it to move up. All right. So I'm gonna let it play out. And then it just jumped up. And so I felt like I missed my opportunity. So I'll say, hey, instead of, so again, as you can see, I didn't, so I just paused it. I didn't press it at the top. Okay, I like for it to go down some because I know it'll at least bounce back up. So I'm allowing that. Now you don't want to wait for it to go down too far because if it goes down too far, it might retrace. So you guys have to. This is the purpose of practicing, so you can find out the best time frame to do that for yourself. You know, but me, I like to do it near the top end, not halfway, because I just want to make sure that it is going to go up. It could go down, so it can go either way, but timing is everything. All right. So I'm gonna press this and let this one ride out. So now it's going downward, and I click. Right. So now, as you can see, and I just pause it again, I have a wick still above, letting me know that there's more room. Okay. I have my MACD here. So I'm just moving some of this stuff out the way so you can see it. So I got my first thing is my wick. That arrow's off. But my wick showing me that it's been above this point before. And make sure if you guys are using desktop, like y'all gotta click. Man, sometimes that delay will mess you up. So if you're holding onto the button like I do sometimes and releasing it, that's messing me up. It actually messed me up this evening. That's what was happening the first time because I was pressing it and letting go. So sometimes you just gotta press that button. You gotta treat it like I forgot what the game is, the Steve Harvey game where they hit the button. Like you just got to do it and commit because if you're holding button and releasing, that second or two delay can mess you up. Okay. But anyway, Wick was the first space. Two, MACD is already showing a crossover, but I got very large candles there. Um, Third is I'm over the 80. It's kind of curving out, so this isn't like the best. Like I said, I don't. If one and two makes sense, I'm okay with ignoring number three as long as it's not like in the red or something crazy or pointing downward. So it's just evened out. It's not going upward. It's not going downward. It's just showing me that hey, if this works, it's going to be a close one, right? So 5 seconds later, boom. All right. So as you, I think you guys, yeah, you wrote with me on all of these ones at least. These are the ones that I showed you. All right. So everybody can do this, but it takes practice. And in terms of personal preference, it's really up to you. If you're somebody that wants to trade outside of the zones, I mean, I guess if you're looking at all of the, I mean, I don't know. If you're going to do that, then I mean, it's very easy to find your own method to adopt if you're not comfortable with the one that I'm providing. The thing is, you have to base this on what you're able to tolerate, in terms of your patience, because that's the key thing. Like typically speaking, since I'm used to doing this for a few minutes and getting in and out, um, it's hard for me to do something different. I'm not gonna lie. I've tried it, and because I'm like, man, I'm actually doing this the harder way than what it looks like needs to be done. If I just wait for them to go outside the zone and I'm able to catch it, even though now that I can do alerts, I can just put it in for 3, 4, 5 minutes and seeing right how it goes. But I uh I don't know. I don't like it. I guess if you get used to doing it one way, it's hard to go to something different. But also this, it's hard for me to find an example. I feel like I can't ever find one when I'm trying to record. But I also trade against as well. So like sometimes when I'm at a ceiling, I'll try to catch it on the bounce back. So like for for this same situation, if it was a little bit further down, and I'm gonna try to find an example. It's just hard because you have to have multiple ways of doing these things. Nobody just trades one full way. Like I said, if you're using the same tools, to me that makes it easier because now you don't have to like switch anything. But let's just say this was instead of going over, it was like right here, right? And I'm at this candle. I would I would put in a 5 second sale, right? If I didn't have large candles, right? Large bars, I'm sorry. It can go up. It can be going up. That's fine. But I wouldn't do that against in this situation with large bars. It had to be smaller bars. I would prefer this to be like evening out some. It'll still be going upward because it's a buy, but I wouldn't prefer it to be a strong upward motion. And then if this was above 80, so if it's above 80 and it's leveling out, because if it's doing that, then I know it's going to retrace some before it shoots back up. Okay, some. So I'm trying to find one where I'm recording and I can show you that, but I feel like every time I'm trying to, I'm not recording at the time. And if I'm working and I'm trying to record these videos, it'll be forever because sometimes I don't have time to be doing both. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. You guys can get this stuff done. Trust me, just take your time and practice, man. Like I said, follow my method or create your own. I mean, the beauty of how I do things, I feel like I teach the tools very well. So however you want to utilize them is up to you. But each their own. If this method is not something that if it's too risky for you and you're not getting it, that is fine. It's just really with my method, it's all about the timing and it's all about having the patience to and I guess the trust in the process to be able to like click that button when you need to, because it's not about it going one direction or another direction for a long period of time. It's just saying that when I enter in at this point, I know it's going to be above that point for 5 seconds, and as long as it does, I get to cash out. All right. So, appreciate you guys, and until next time. And also, make sure y'all following and subscribing, liking the video so other people see it. It's all appreciated. So, thank you.